Hello everyone, welcome back. We are going to pick up right where we left off. We're still in chapter 1, but I had to go ahead and cut it after the schoolroom scene because, lo and behold, I had been playing for 40 minutes. So we're just going to load up this new scene. I hope there have been some improvements in audio quality. I have tweaked the situation a bit. Okay, into the story. It's now recess at Duchesne Institute. Aze and I go for a walk outside of the school grounds, wandering with no particular destination in mind, though the street that serves as the heart of our small town. It has become our routine. It's not even that big in the first place, but we live in a modest European town whose inhabitants thrive off a rich history and modern-day political lies. I've lived here my entire life, and the only positive quality I can think of is the fresh, unpolluted air. In other words, it's really boring here. Although it's still better to die of boredom than try to deal with those little brats back at the school. Alright, I should mention I tried to look up a more proper pronunciation of this one's name, and I couldn't really find anything that gave me a definite idea. It's a surname, usually. So I'm just gonna keep saying Aze. Might turn into Ozzy on down the road, but we'll see. Damn, I never expected for it to end so badly. I didn't think it was a big deal. Even though we're pranking everyone more often than before, we haven't done anything too terrible. I guess that's just the risk we took with doing it to a new teacher. Some people take life too seriously. The comedian standing next to me is Aze Ildwine. He's a perverted, narcissistic guy who can't decide whether he loves women or his own reflection more. He calls himself a lady killer, and I can confirm that it's true. In a literal sense. From shock and terror, usually. Well, to be honest, I know he has a reputation as a womanizer around the school, but from what I've seen, I'm skeptical. He has stuck to me like a parasite ever since I transferred to this school a few years ago. Since then, just like with our little play, we've wasted our time pulling pranks and being dumbasses together. I'm just faking it, but he really has a natural talent for it. Because of our infamous endeavors, no one can take us seriously. That's why we're known as class clowns above all else. In all the years we've been studying here, we've never gotten into any major trouble, just sometimes getting lectured or complained at. The fact that Aze, although it may seem impossible, has the highest grade in his class probably has something to do with it. And well, I'm just a pretty face, I guess. I'm a lucky guy who knows how to escape before the smoke sets off the alarm. But it seems we've scared the new teacher a little too much, especially by pretending she might have an immoral relationship with a student. But what else should we have expected from an age that places precedence on political correctness? Real issues are shrugged off while everyone is off living in their own bubbles, dreading that someone may try to pop it. Basically, right now they're discussing where they should chop our heads off and which weapon to use, the axe or the guillotine. I don't regret it though, it really wasn't that bad. They're just too sensitive. Hey, are you listening to me? Are you doodling again? Every time I get distracted, you always have your nose in that notebook. It's impressive how long it can take for Ozzy to notice his surroundings. Since we've left, I've been writing in the small pocket-sized notebook that I always keep with me. And no, I wasn't listening to him. I don't consider it healthy to pay attention to him anyways. I've asked you a couple of times already, are you gonna show me what you're writing eventually, or not? We've been friends for like 6 years? Still, you've never let me see it. I puff and close the notebook with my thumb and index finger. It's a question that I should expect by now, seeing as this fixation of mine usually catches everyone's attention at some point. No, it's not weird to write entries in a diary or to jot down ideas, neither of which was what I was doing. It's only because I do it so often that it's even noteworthy. Alright, now he speaks up. And I've looked up this name because I was not quite sure. I've read that name many times, but I've never heard it said out loud. And I had saw one site before I started the first episode that said it was pronounced like Siren. But the second time I checked it out, I found a website that made it sound like I should say it with a K sound. Kieran? Alright, if anyone knows, please correct me. Okay, and here Kieran says, what am I writing? No, Ozzy, your question is incorrect, seeing as I'm not the one who's writing anything. It's my hand. It moves by itself. Every time I have the premonition of a catastrophe, my fingers themselves scribe a future into this notebook. I've been keeping it a secret because this power, if put in the wrong hands, could be used for evil. Catastrophe? Wait a second. Are you kidding me? Catastrophe how? Am I in danger? My friend's verbosity suddenly accelerates within a second. Meanwhile, I open the notebook and read what I had just written, then turn my gaze away and bite my lip. Hey, I don't like that face. What did you just read? I hope it's not something harmful to me. At that very moment, I shiver. It was as if lightning had struck me. With no control over my body, I write a short sentence on a new page, and then rip it out as the premonition finishes. Okay, now you're really freaking me out. What did you write? I can't tell you. Hand it over. Ozzy snatches the crumpled sheet of paper away from me. Finally, while trying to keep a composure that he clearly lacks, he reads its contents. The time is quickly approaching. Something worse than death will hunt you down. Ah! Eh? I only touched your shoulder. Why'd you jump? How are my favorite guys? I've got good news. What kind of premonition is this, Kier? Well, I wrote about something worse than death, and then Ziva came along. I think it hit the mark. What are you talking about, and why do I get the feeling that it isn't good? Let's not get into the details. Kier was writing in his notebook again, and I wanted to know what it was, since he never tells us. Ziva moves her gaze from Ozzy to me, blinding me with a sparkle shimmering in her eyes so brightly that it resembles a lighthouse. Oh, So when Diane was compulsively writing in his notebook again, "Can I see what you wrote too, eh? Can I? Can I?" She tries to steal my pocket-sized notebook by jumping on me, but since I'm used to her trying this kind of thing, I manage to evade her in time and hide it away in my back pocket. "Hands off, Sigmund Freud." Gee, so unfair. If you won't show it to me, then your treatment will never progress in Diane. Don't be deceived by her charm and appeal. Ziva Shani is one of the most dangerous species in the entire world, according to 9 out of 10 experts. While most of my fellow fauna will tell you the opposite since they're all madly in love with her, to me, Ziva's nothing more than a headache. I mean, just take a look at her. It's like she's straight out of an RPG with those clothes. But since she's attractive, everyone just turns a blind eye. If I had to describe her, I'd say she's a wannabe psychologist with a touch of insidiousness and deceit, who has also been determined to ruin my life since the very first moment we met earlier this year. Her dream is to go to college and focus on the studies of the human mind, and what better practice than experimenting with mine first? Somehow, she found out about my habit of scribbling in my notebook, which she described as interesting, and hasn't stopped bugging me since. She decided I'd be her test subject. Not a week goes by where she doesn't try to psychoanalyze me or fish my paper scraps out of the trash and read them. Even worse, sometimes she tries to steal my notebook so she can discover its secrets. At least now she calls me by my surname. Before that, I was just patient to her. The only thing that needs to be treated is your head, Ziva. Well, what were you going to say before you attacked me? Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I snuck into the teacher's lounge and gave them my biggest, saddest puppy dog eyes so I could pacify them and blah blah blah. They only gave me the usual speech and sent me away. Aren't I lucky? Well, that shouldn't have been expected. It wasn't that bad. I guess I won't be scolded again this time either. Huh? I wasn't talking about you guys, just me. Then what part of that exactly do you call good news? I thought you'd be happy for me and Diane. I didn't expect you to react so selfishly. Come on, they can't be that hard on us. If they let Ziva get away with it, then our fate will probably be the same. We've done worse things day after day and nothing has ever happened, right? Yeah, but this time, it was all the master plan of this lady right here, who also insisted on participating in one of our operations with us. And she doesn't even care what happens to her comrades now. Seriously? That explains why Ziva would participate with us in all of this, but it was you who owed me one in Diane, so stop complaining. Plus, I was just messing with you. I wouldn't really hang you out to dry. You don't have to worry about anything. The substitute is angry, but the rest of the staff didn't really take it seriously. Pardon me. The only thing you've got to do now is apologize to her and shed some crocodile tears to show how very sorry you are, and you're finished. See how easy it is? I can't believe you don't trust me and Diane. You have such little faith in me. Little to none. Anyways, that was the bare minimum you could have done since you were involved. Stop grumbling. I did help you though, so I want a favor in return. Can you come with me to... Request denied. No favors. Jeez. Come on, what's with the long faces? Remember how in less than a month finals begin? Less fighting and more having a good time so we can leave this place with a good impression, okay? By the way, Ziva, what kind of favor did he owe you, if you don't mind my asking? I think this is the first time I've heard of Kier owing anyone a favor without a bet somehow being involved. Hell, not too long ago he wouldn't do anything unless there was a bet involved. Oh, it was nothing. I just asked my uncle if he knew about a certain package since he works at the post office. Speaking of which, you never did tell me what that was all about. You told me you'd explain it another time. I fold my arms in and raise an eyebrow, resigning myself to answer despite my clear lack of interest. It's kind of a bad anecdote, but I guess we have the time anyways. Excuse me again. Because Aze and Ziva look at me expectantly, their interest can't be more apparent. I initially resist, but end up yielding to the pressure. Alright, I'll tell you everything, but I'm warning you, it's just a depressing love story. A love story? You don't have to tell the entire world, you know. I wasn't aware that my young and pure Kieran had already become a man. It must have been due to my benevolent influence. Tell me, what kind of person is willing to put up with your eccentricity, compañero mío? Hey, I always have to put up with you and I don't complain. Quit joking around. But you complain every single day. Could you please stop beating around the bush? Okay, straight to the point. I get it. I clear my throat before starting. Let's see. It all started this one night. I was inside my warm and comfortable room. But your room is a pigsty. I've seen it. Warm and comfortable, as I said. I was surfing the torturous streams of the internet when my eyes fell upon a small ad hidden under millions of crappy posts on a crappy forum. That's when I saw her, the most beautiful of all muses, the most lovely of all creatures in this calamitous world we're forced to live in. Don't you like how the music just got funkier? A super rare limited edition figurine carved by God himself. Don't tell me that you fell in love with the figurine. You're dead to me, Kier. You hear me? Dead. It was limited edition, okay? Yeah, let's do some simple addition, guys. Ah, that changes everything. What is wrong with you? Are you gonna let me finish or what? Not even memories are respected nowadays. You humans disgust me. For heaven's sake, can you please just finish? As I was saying, tribulations soon came to pass. Its price, much like its charm, went beyond the realm of reason. However, I didn't let that stop me. For my love of those 4 inches of hard, solid, shapely plastic outweighed the death knells of my wallet. Ah, I see, so her price was loads of money. That's a lot of money. Although I had now condemned my soul to future insecurities, my heart was aflutter with grace, and I hit purchase. Now I see where all of this is going. Huh? Seriously? Well, he never got his delivery. That's why he asked if I could ask my uncle to check it out. But that doesn't make sense. Couldn't you just ask the post office yourself? Here's the problem. I didn't order it under my name. I bought it with my dad's credit card without him knowing about it, kind of. So I can't even pick it up. That's the drama I've imposed upon myself right now. You can leave your snot rags and tear tissues in the garbage to your left. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, a round of applause. You stole your father's credit card. What a model son you are. Yeah, I'm not proud of it, you know. I regretted it afterwards. I plan on paying him back, but I can't do anything if they lost the package. The weirdest thing is how on the website I ordered it from, the shipping page instantly indicated that it was delivered, signed for, and everything. How is that even possible? I don't know, but there's another mystery. Ozzy, your phone is one of those high-tech ones with internet and stuff, right? Can you lend it to me? Sure, give me a minute. Don't tell me you don't have internet on your phone in this day and age in Diane. My phone was more useful as a hammer than for communicating. Look at the biceps I got from carrying that thing around. The truth is that it broke not too long ago and now I gotta buy a new one. But I'm lazy and in no hurry. I'll get a new one when a sale comes around. Not to mention you owe your dad a lot of money. What an old-timer. How is it even possible for someone to live without a smartphone nowadays? Ziva's gonna turn into a valley girl. You can come back to the future anytime now, McFly. Don't try to reason with him, Ziva. He's a lost cause. Here you go, Kier. Do you know how to use it? Ozzy then shows me an app to check my email with, just like I asked him to. I enter my email address and password with ease on the touchpad and open the very first email in my inbox before presenting the screen to my classmates. Is that a threat? The email says the following. From Harry H. H.H. 1927 at xxxxx.com. To Kieran and Diane. Kieran _ and I. Okay. It's a pretty boring email address. Subject. Not for everybody. Can a figurine really come to life and disappear? If you want to know the truth, go find it. This Monday, after class, come to the playground in the deserted neighborhood. Good luck making your first decision. After both of them read it, I hand the phone back to its owner while he's still in shock. What? What's this supposed to mean? That's what I'd like to know. It's almost like someone's challenging me to a duel. This is insane! You ordered a figurine. You didn't kill anybody. You didn't kill anybody, right? A lot of people. Every single day. I haven't been a professional hitman for the last 13 years for nothing. Don't look at me like that. Of course I haven't. Yet. So, who's this Harry H., if I may ask? Don't ask me. I don't know any Harrys. Not to mention that he used one of those free emails that anybody can create. So there's really no way for me to know. What are you going to do? I can't see the police investigating the kidnapping of a plastic figurine. It must be some kind of joke. Some internet friend must have known about it and decided to pull a prank on me. You're just going to ignore it? Of course I'm not stupid. Aren't you curious? I'd like to take a peek, but I wouldn't want to go alone either, just in case. Okay, I think I read Kieran's former answer wrong. I think he meant to say, of course, I'm not stupid, meaning he's not going. Okay, I can live without knowing. I'm just upset that someone would pull a prank like this after my loss. Doesn't anybody respect true love these days? That's the problem with you and Diane. Everything outside of your comfort zone bothers you. Preparing a surprise party for you must be hell. If it's just a joke, then you should laugh about it. Maybe even go there. It could be fun. What could go wrong, eh? I have nothing against surprises, but when nothing goes my way, then of course it's going to upset me. Anyways, how did you manage to turn this into an impromptu therapy session? Just so you know, I hate you. Me? Therapy? What makes you think that? In fact, we can change subjects and talk about something more interesting. For instance, did you notice that during that anecdote you shared with us, you displayed symptoms of kleptomania, compulsive buying disorder, and paraphilia? And you don't have a smartphone. That's the worst part by far. I don't have a cell phone, so I don't have to talk to you two outside of school. And why do you care? The important thing is how everything goes wrong for me and you aren't helping. Well, we've killed enough time here. We should probably head back to the classroom now. With the intention of leaving before Ziva has the chance to toss me on a couch, Ozzy stops me with a question. Hey Kier, before we go, I'd like to know one thing. If that notebook doesn't make you clairvoyant, what does? I chuckle in response. I write 2 short notes on different pages and I tear them off, handing the first one to Aze. I'll give you a hint. It isn't actually clairvoyance, but something similar. I pat him on the arm, bidding him farewell and leaving him behind as he reads the note out loud in a hushed voice. You don't have to flirt with Ziva while I'm looking away. What do you mean? This is more like advice than a premonition. And bad advice at that. Did you say my name? Did he write something about me? Let me see it. Maybe I can come up with more symptoms and Diane shows using my deductive abilities. Speaking of symptoms, how are yours, Ziva? What do you mean? That love sickness you suffered during our little play? It's possible that you suffered some after effects, you know, and I just happen to know of a good remedy. Aw, now Ozzy is delirious. That's cute. We'll treat that some other time, okay? Ziva walks away, leaving the lone reject behind as he puts his hands in his pockets and sighs. It's then that he finds the second scrap of paper that I wrote, which I had slipped into his right pocket without him noticing. Because she'll turn you down anyways. Impossible! It's unfair that you can predict these things, Kier. You've won this time. End scene. It had been a while since the day's lesson. ended and I went back home, but that very afternoon, I would have to pass by the school again, and things would get really, really funky. You can't see me, but I'm bobbing my head right now. I also have the urge to snap. I leave the clinic that's next door to my school, and I decide to take a detour through the scenic route. There's a park with a small pond located behind the school, and I like to wander there from time to time. It's sloppier than you'd expect. The water is nearly dried up and has a strange hue that's extremely off-putting. That doesn't change the fact that it's quiet and welcoming here when you just want to take a peaceful stroll. Okay, the funkiness went away. Sorry, I got in a bit of a poetry. Oh, it came back! Yay! Now I won't be able to stop reciting. Okay. As I sit in the park on a bench at the edge of the road, I flip my pen in frustration as I'm unable to recall the words for its paper counterpart. Then, with a heavy sigh, somehow my thoughts are suddenly led astray. I still have time to go and take a look at the place the email mentioned. I remember the place not being too far away from here, and even though I know it's stupid, it still piques my interest. Forget it. I said I wouldn't go. Why would I anyways? To make a fool out of myself in front of Ziva? I don't have to prove anything to anyone. Jose also said we should be making the most of the time we have before our final exams. It's true there isn't much time before the exams begin, and after that I don't have any plans. But is that reason enough for an anything goes attitude? That isn't the right question. And the most important thing now is to think about what I truly want to do, without forgetting to consider the risks. In the worst case scenario, what could it be? A kidnapping? Bah, I'm not important enough to be kidnapped this elaborately. And if it's just a prank, then who cares? I don't even like this town. I'll just leave once I've finished high school. I don't really care how the others see me either. I'm curious to know who sent me that stupid email. I should stop overthinking it. Exactly. I should go investigate it and find the truth myself. What now, Ziva? Take that! Thrilled with the results of my monologue, I jump up and flip off a random unsuspecting cloud. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. It's not like I actually care about the cloud's feelings, but it's obvious that I was caught up in the moment and had temporarily abandoned my own principles. What nonsense am I even? That's it! You're totally right! I have to change my attitude! To hell with everything! Okay, I feel like I need to give this girl a cutesy voice. I'll work on it. A huge hat flops out of nowhere, concealing a girl underneath it, who then also decides to flip off an unsuspecting cloud. Oh my gosh, she's adorable. Upon closer inspection, I see that the hat is normal-sized, but the girl underneath it is just puny. She's not puny, she's fun-sized. Thank you very much. For no apparent reason, that shorty walks up to me and answers a question I haven't even asked. What am I doing here? I've been on that bench the entire time. I was drowning in sorrow until you decided to sit next to me. Naturally, I assumed you were going to hit on me. In fact, I don't know why it doesn't happen more often. Although, it's a pity that you just had to be so ugly. No hard feelings, but I have high standards. You go, girl, you keep those standards. Is she making fun of me? Well, I mean, you're intriguing in your own way, yeah? It isn't good to be so forceful. First impressions aren't everything, girl. Can I go now, please? The important thing is that you aren't a pervert. You came to cheer me up. I don't know how you knew what I was thinking, but your words have inspired me. Thank you so very much! Alright, I have no idea what's going on. It seems that when I sat here, I didn't realize someone else was sitting here too. And now she thinks I was talking to her all along? That's what I get for thinking out loud. Normally people would think you're crazy for doing so. You'd never expect to attract crazy people. I don't know who she is, but I need to stay calm, like she's a predator. I mustn't let her smell my fear. Didn't understand that, I was sniffing. She's sniffing me! I like how now her name is Crazy Do Not Touch. You smell like a good person. I think I'm gonna like you after all. You have a better chance than I initially thought. You should be proud of yourself. You're scaring me. I'll do like you said and just enjoy the moment. My condition shouldn't be an obstacle, and overthinking it isn't going to solve anything. Right, so it's been a pleasure finally meeting you face to face. Until next time. Thank you again! She leaves as suddenly as she appeared. I would like to say something in reply, but I'm speechless. In fact, I think I peed myself a little. Yeah, I've had that effect on men. Tossing aside things I'd rather forget, I'm here to check this place out because of that mysterious email. I was thinking there'd be a cowboy or someone to challenge me to a duel, but nobody else is here. I should have known that considering where I am, in an unfinished neighborhood. They started building a ton of complexes here a little less than a decade ago, but they blew the budget before finishing them. This playground is one of the few things they managed to finish, but with no one living around here, it's no wonder that it isn't popular. I can confirm that personally, since I usually pass close to this area when I visit the library, and I've never seen anyone else here before. It seems that I came here for nothing. Or at least, that's what I think, until I spot a leg hanging out amongst the tubes, rails, and slides. A leg, huh? Keeping my distance, I sneak around the playground, trying to find out who the leg belongs to. Good plan, good plan. And sitting there is a girl. Girls have legs. I immediately recognized not her identity, but the gesture she's making. Between her fingers, she holds a pencil, which she uses to trace lines along a sketchbook that's propped up against her knees. Whew, I didn't know what gesture she was making, I was afraid it was going to be a dirty one. While listening closely, I can hear her humming. Sometimes she rubs her pencil against her lips while in thought, or looks away from the sketchbook to view her subject from another perspective. She doesn't seem to notice my presence as I hide behind a tree, planning the best course of action. Alright, Kieran, there's nobody else around here, so she must be the one who sent that email. Or at least, she must somehow be involved with it. So I go out, wanting an explanation to that email. Seems easy enough. As soon as I begin to emerge from my hiding spot, I immediately jolt back behind the tree. Wait a second. If she's waiting for me, then why is she sketching here? She seems too immersed in her drawing to be waiting for someone. She hasn't even looked at anything but her paper and subject. Actually, it must be difficult to see much from her vantage point. If she's waiting for me, it'd make more sense to wait from where she can see the entrance. Another possibility is that she wants to ambush me. That'd account for why she's hidden. Then maybe she got too caught up in her art and forgot about me. In that case, I should try to catch her off guard. Why am I overthinking this anyway? I have the upper hand here. I just need to move first. I should just be friendly and give her a good first impression. It'd still be a surprise attack, but not as aggressive. I stealthily step out of my hiding spot with cat-like reflexes. I climb up the slide and grab one of the monkey bars near where I want to slide down next. I sneak behind the girl with the intention of surprising her before she can react to anything. Gotcha! Eh? She's gone? I fail my mission miserably and decide to survey the area just in case. When I finally notice her running out of the park, fleeing with all of her art supplies in hand. Now what do I do? I scratched my head in confusion, with no next plan of action, until I gaze at the nearby garbage can. She probably hasn't yet realized that nobody comes here to empty the trash, seeing as it's filled with her scraps of paper from failed drawings. It's pretty full, so she probably comes here often. The scraps have all kinds of illustrations, clearly drawn by someone with natural talent, of animals and fantasy creatures one would expect from a movie. They aren't the work of an expert, but they have a quality that dazzles me. Except for a small detail, what's written next to them. This one has a story that begins with an inter-country religion war that somehow ends with an intergalactic war with vampires. Yep. Sounds good. Another is about magicians summoning spirits to a post-apocalyptic city. Their enemy seems to be a gangster werewolf, also from space. This one stars a group of globe-trotting, demon-hunting mercenaries. The demons aren't from space this time, but hyperspace. That's totally different. This is giving me an aneurysm. The art's good, but the concepts, not so much. There are too many cliches. I'm starting to wonder if they're actually parodies. Maybe she's mocking me? Or maybe these are clues of some kind? While busy putting my detective skills to the test, I slip on something and lose my balance. Looking down, I find that the culprit is a common drawing pencil. That's weird. I saw her using this a minute ago. For her to drop it like that, she must have been in a pretty big hurry. Then I realized something. This happened to me at the pond, too. I was talking out loud without noticing. She must have heard me while I was rambling behind the tree, and I must have scared her. That must be why she ran away. She has to be involved with that email business. She ran away because I was about to catch her. Okay, I can't let things in like this, right? We have unfinished business, my dear nameless artist. Alright, that's probably a good spot to end it, huh?